Apologies for the last stream. Apologies for the last few streams. I am putting a list together today of streaming equipment and just pulling the trigger on one of them. There's going to be no more subpar streams. You guys don't deserve to have to sit through bullshit, buffering, or a stream stopping. So I have the money saved. Might as well spend it. Gonna put a list together and choose the best one out of the list. So get it as quick as possible. Set it up. No Mac. Going PC, desktop. Maybe double monitor. Something nice. Something nice for the people. Just to make sure you guys don't have to deal with any nonsense. Plus, it frustrates me more than anything to have you guys listening or watching something subpar. We should be at the level where we're putting out the best quality streams we can. So that's that. That's all I'm going to say about that. No more talking about it. Just going to do it. And that's that. So Kanye West. Kanye had a little interview with Tucker Carlson last night. Now, if you were just browsing the web, excuse me, like I said, I woke up with a head cold. Voice is a little hoarse. Some people said it sounds a little better, a little deeper. But if you didn't catch it last night and you woke up and you saw a bunch of clips, you probably didn't know that this interview was probably an hour long. Like it was 42 minutes of TV time. So that's most likely Kanye sitting for an hour with Tucker Carlson, and pretty good interview. Now let's talk about Kanye West really quick. Kanye West broke into the music industry as a producer. He produced for Jay-Z very early on. Blueprint One was known for very good production, still is well known for very good production, but then started rapping and had a very, very successful rap career. Now, he signed the dotted line of a lot of Jewish overlords that told him what to do, told him what tour to go on, told him what song to put out as a single, told him when to drop his album. So before we think Kanye is this amazing truth teller, he's in the Donald Trump category. They're all still puppets, but you can get a little truth out of them, which is good because this interview was awesome to watch, and especially calling out, it's not just a broad call out of the J, it's a specific call out of Jared Kushner and Josh Kushner, Jared's brother, on a specific issue, and gets into J-ish business practices, gets into some kind of geopolitical just to make money projects that Jared Kushner was involved in. So, you know, when the Jerusalem Post is putting out articles about Kanye West within an hour of the interview, you know he said something. So we'll just be breaking down the interview for this stream. Welcome to everybody. If the stream all of a sudden looks like it shut off or something, just sign back in or refresh. It does it like every single time. I'll just write that in the thing. Just refresh if stream makes it look like it's over. I'll tell you when it's over. The algorithm really doesn't like you. Well, they let me get up to a certain amount of viewers and then they hit me with that thing, but it's whatever. I could care less about. I could really care less at this point about YouTube. Honestly, I mean, I'm doing this stream right now. I think the title explains itself. So this all started 2 days ago. Kanye West not even really launched anything. He was doing like a publicity stunt slash minor merch drop, but not really. Just came out with a White Lives Matter t-shirt on to cause controversy because I'm assuming an album is coming shortly. And he usually does stuff like this when an album is coming. My main issue is when people think Kanye's some woke guy or Kanye's a genius, he's sitting hand in hand with Candace Owens. Candace Owens is one of the biggest grifters to hit conservative incorporated in the last 5-6 years. She's a liberal at heart. You can find her liberal TED Talk on YouTube. You can find her what's left of it. You have to go to the archives, but you can find her anti-bullying website where she doxed people for saying mean words online. She had an anti-Trump magazine where she would write articles about how small Trump's dick was. And then she rebranded herself as something called Red Pill Black. Red Pill is one of the gayest terms you could ever use. And then she just became Candace Owens once the algorithm push came and she got a couple 100,000 subs. Now she's just an establishment conservative Inc. Person. I don't even need to play this clip, but I'll play this clip for you guys later. It just shows a lot of media trickery and how good they're getting with it, making this kid look like he's on a ledge. Well, all of this is CGI behind him. He's really just on a sidewalk. So you really can't believe anything you see or hear on the internet anymore. They're getting too good with it. If you saw the latex video that I put up, then you guys know. No, so Kanye goes on Tucker. It's 40 minutes, defends the white race, exposes the Jewish swindle. You know, this is following the White Lives Matter t-shirt. So right after he appears on Tucker, explained that he's been talking to some other people. He starts denouncing Jews as swindlers who only care about money, saying that Jared Kushner was only in the White House to do Israeli money schemes. He claims that he held Trump back. I think he should be at this far in the game where he knows that all presidents are puppets. He gets into the Clintons and how they tried to manipulate his ex-wife, but at the time wife, into shilling the VAXX. The whole thing was pretty brilliant. I mean, you got him denouncing abortion, denouncing the Clintons, denouncing the vax, denouncing the Jays, endorsing white people. But the best part of it was the Jared Kushner piece, because he gets into specifics about like his own business that Jared Kushner took a percentage of. And it was a larger percentage than what Kanye has in his own company. And he was just like, "What if I was to do that to you?" So it was a pretty good way of doing it. What's up, Drew? Let me make sure. Actually, you just write it in the chat. What time you're streaming tonight? I think it's 11 p.m. Eastern. Drew and a guest are going to be streaming tonight. And you should definitely be sub to Chalk Body Outline. You should be definitely sub to Get Chalked Up. Because every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, me, Drew, Tin, and then this other guy that we let talk sometimes. Come on. But we've been doing it 2 weeks in a row. This week is the third. Everything should be fully tuned up. Should be a good show. So think it's, yeah, 11 p.m. Eastern with Pat Truthner is the NFL rigged. I gotta check something on this. People are messaging me. I'm streaming, bruh. Alright, let's get into the... I might do it in clips because the whole interview, some of the things we don't really need to get into. Now, as soon as he did the White Lives Matter t-shirt, which is really, who gives a shit? Kanye has done way more outlandish things, He had the Gap rollout of his merchandise where he just threw garbage bags on the floor. Like, Kanye's done crazy shit, and this is why part of the media puppet thing. But as soon as that was over, they announced his partnership with Adidas is under review because of the, quote, incident. After repeated efforts to privately resolve the situation, we have taken this decision to place the partnership under review. The apparel maker said in a statement, we will continue to co-manage the current product during this period. So you're not doing shit. When you're saying something's under review, but you're not doing anything about it, that means you're not doing shit. Now, I just want to point out that Kanye made the White Lives Matter shirt, but there is a little grifter that came in, and his name is good old Steven Crowder. As soon as Kanye put that shirt up, Crowder had to get his fucking greedy little paws on it, put it on his site. It did look like Tony Hawk, didn't it? I don't think he heads Adidas, though. I think he said he could live on royalties from the first Tony Hawk video game, not including the next 10 that they put out. Bubscat asked, have you seen Jake the asshole, go off on Pat Truthner? I didn't know either of these guys. I don't watch Jake. I was just put on to Pat today. I don't know. I'll watch Drew stream on it and get my opinion from there. So Crowder comes in, $53 hoodie, and of course, for the ladies out there, Crowder's such a piece of shit, man. He really is. He really is a piece of shit. The pink White Lives Matter shirt. Like, you couldn't let Kanye have a week. Like you couldn't let him have a week of sales of the shirt that he put out. You instantly had to steal the whole idea. Classic Crowder. All right. Now, the Jerusalem Post came out. And I'm getting these articles out of the way because then I want to get into straight videos. Kanye West, Abraham Accords was signed to make money for the Kushner family. And this is what he was talking about. And he's basically asking Tucker Carlson, like, what are all these peace treaties in Israel that Jared Kushner is doing? And Tucker's like, yeah, he does them in, like, Israel and other Arab nations. No, he doesn't. They're just in Israel. And Kanye's like, yeah, I think those are just to make money. And then you get the black community to come out. Ahmaud Arbery, which, a good boy. He was a good boy that probably got shot for didn't do nothing. Mother says Kanye West White Lives Matter shirt helps to legitimize extremist behavior. Because I don't know about you guys, when I saw that White Lives Matter shirt, the first thing I thought was American History X curb stomping. It's just a fucking t-shirt. It doesn't normalize anything. It doesn't promote extremism. And he explains it in the interview quite nicely. It's just a fact. Like, and it's just dumb. Black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter. They're all fucking retarded. Just to put that out there. I think you guys agree with all that. Alright, so let me see where I want to start here. There's so many different I want to get the right start to the interview. I'm just going to start with this one. Because this is like a little inside the music industry / fashion industry that Kanye is a part of. And I liked how he called it demonic. It was a very good way of putting it.
There's a group mob. It's like...
Let me get this full screened up.
There's a group mob. It's like liberal Nazis that...
Number one, hate the term Nazi used for anybody. People overuse this all the time. Have no idea of the actual history of what happened in the 1930s in Germany. Just, they instantly think, oh, Nazi bad. Okay, we can call these people the real Nazis. Trump, oh, he's a literal Nazi. But the liberals, they're actually real Nazis. Well, you've dumbed down the word so much that it doesn't matter. It's the same as the N-word. It's the same as all of the words that they've just wrung out and don't mean anything anymore. So, thanks for doing that.
Will go up and attack you. Like I said, you know, everyone's like, Anna Wintour's your friend. I'm like, this Gabby girl and Gigi.
Alright, so I'm going to have to do a little explaining. The names he's going to mention are models in the industry. And he's basically going to explain that when he does something like a publicity stunt like White Lives Matter, these people aren't allowed to comment. Like, they can't go to TMZ and give a comment. They can't have an interviewer call them and ask them to give them a comment. They can't go on Twitter and write a comment. They have to be given the okay by somebody to make a comment about him. Because there's just different levels in the donut Illuminati matrix archaics.
Anna Wintour's your friend. I'm like, this Gabby girl and Gigi and these people, they would have never said anything negative unless they got the okay from Condé Nast, unless they got the okay from Anna. They would have never got the okay to comment. Like, let's just talk about specifically.
So these are people who are attacking you for your T-shirt.
Well, it was a setup. It started off as, them having this black girl comment and say, well, I felt traumatized when I saw this T-shirt. It's like this, a black girl saying,
Gotta love that. You know, that's a scripted out comment when someone feels traumatized. Earlier on in the last stream I did, it was a teacher scaring kids, and they inserted the word teacher terrorizes children. She put a mask on and scared like 5 kids. She's terrorizing children. But that website didn't have any articles about like chopping kids' dicks off or anything.
and I felt traumatized when I saw a black man wearing something that he wasn't allowed to wear. It's like in Django when Jamie Foxx is on top of a horse and Samuel Jackson's like, you know, that black guy's not supposed to be on top of the horse. Okay, and then I went and said, hey, I don't like your boots. I know Anna Wintour doesn't like your boots, and you're not a fashion person. And then people started to say I was a bully, but it was a setup. And they finally got it, right? Because I eliminated the BLM officer at Adidas. And then I got out of the Gap deal. And just one by one, I've been winning these battles, right? And they thought they had me. They had the idea that Ye was bullying, what I think the liberal term is a body goals black woman. Now let's talk about Gabby and my good friend Lizzo. Lizzo works with my
I don't even know what that is. A body goals black woman. So a fat black bitch, basically. So his friend Lizzo.
trainer, a friend of mine, Harley Pasternak. When Lizzo loses 10 pounds and announces it, the bots, that's a term for people like, it's like telemarketer callers, like on Instagram, they attack her for losing weight because
So like in white term, like for white people, this would be like an Adele situation.
media wants to put out a perception that being overweight is the new goal when it's actually unhealthy.
Yes.
Let's get aside the fact of whether it's fashion and Vogue, which is not. Let's
Okay. All right, that's funny. Is it? Let's get it out of the way. If it's fashion or Vogue, it's not.
or if someone thinks it's attractive, to each his own. It's actually clinically unhealthy, and for people to promote that, it's demonic, you know.
So I like that he used the term demonic there, because you always have people think we're in a spiritual battle all the time, especially since he's going to be mentioning the Jays. They're constantly in a spiritual battle. They hate whites. They hate Christians. So him mentioning a, demonic agenda from up top, from up top, he could be talking about numerous things. He's just using this one example for this one.
What can I ask?
Yeah.
I've noticed this also.
Yeah.
Why do you think they would want to promote unhealthiness among the population?
It's a genocide of the black race. They want to kill us in any way they can. Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, and I believe that.
I don't know about the KKK involvement, but the Margaret Sanger part is for sure true. And it's not just for the black community. They're pushing the obesity for everybody. I mean, white people obese, all children obesity levels are up. But he's black. He's going to speak on the black issues. He goes on a tangent that I didn't even fact check the one thing he was saying, but I think he said 50% of the babies in New York are being aborted, which like almost makes sense because it's like more than half of marriages don't work out. So like the numbers kind of make sense that like half of the deaths would be abortions. It's fucking disgusting. Like, it's really a disgusting world we're living in. But we have to be optimistic at some point, because we're not part of this shit. We're pushing against this shit.
If we saw ourselves as a people and not a race, then we would treat our people better. Like if you go to a Jewish person and you say a race, it almost gets confusing. They'll cut you off quickly and say, we're not a race, we're a people. Well, our people are supposed to just say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Okay, well.
So that was the first drop, and he's completely correct. If you call a Jewish person a white person, they will very quickly correct you. Then you have the black people that say white people have no culture. Then you have the white people that can, point to any Twitter video and show you black people's culture. But obviously a very good point. And that was the first mention of the J in the interview. But when he starts going in on Jared Kushner is when it really heated up. I want to make sure I get the longest clip of the. First, I'll go to the Clintons, and then we'll get to Jared Kushner. I don't know about the KKK connection with the Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger in the beginning. I mean, I've researched it before. Maybe I just overlooked that part because the whole thing is, the whole thing is fucking a sick industry. So, would I be surprised if a government leader at that time, because we're talking 60s, as the KKK is getting less and less and less, would I be surprised if one of them were involved in getting that off the ground or getting them funding? Of course not. But it was more about the government allowing Margaret Sanger, and it was for the eradication of inner city babies, and most of them were going to be black, but you can't just say it's all black babies. There's white babies that got killed because of this, and today continuously getting killed. I'm not going to show it in this stream. I'm going to do a separate video on it. Planned Parenthood just this week put out a cartoon for kids about puberty blockers and how awesome they are. Cartoon style, made for kids.
And a friend of mine told me that Chris and Kim had called him because he had influence inside of the black community, and had called him to say, to get him to influence people to take the vaccination. Mm-hmm.
And how many celebrities did we see make those corny ass videos? They didn't all get together and coordinate and call each other and say, let's make this corny video. No, that was set up from above to make them do that. And they just have to listen to what they're told. And they all push the vax on people. You got roasted, you got boosted.
I don't have an opinion on that. I just want to state that as a flat statement. But it was wild that I didn't know how close my own wife was to the Clintons. I didn't know, I didn't realize.
I don't know, you look pretty close there. You're kind of hanging out in the background.
At the time.
That you were married to her.
And I was married to her.
How close was she to the Clintons?
I mean, cell phone away, or hey, tell Ye to say this away, or hey, go out and use your platform to push the vaccination away. I mean, not away, but take the away part. But
do you feel like at times you were manipulated by political forces through your wife?
Attempt manipulation. But yes, there was some manipulation. Me not saying I like Trump was a form of a manipulation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Why did you like him, by the way? You said you liked him early, like you saw him.
I mean,
this is a very black statement.
I keep telling this joke. If people say Trump was the first black president, I'm gonna be the first Latino president, because all the values, the conservative values, just line up. Come on, man.
Actually, Joe Biden is the first Puerto Rican president. You should have been aware of that if you're politically active. He just announced that last week, so you got to stay up on it. He announced that, he grew up in a Puerto Rican household politically.
I mean, Trump's the what do you mean? He has his own buildings. What are you talking about? He's like Ralph Lauren. Yeah, he made Ivanka.
You like Ivanka?
She just basically wants to fuck Ivanka. It's a good statement.
Yeah.
You wrote a post on Instagram about her husband today.
Yeah, I had a dinner with.
All right, so this is where he gets into Christopher, and Jared Kushner. Now, Jared Kushner is just a slimy J bag. We all know that. A ghoul type person. If you ever look at him, just an odd looking alien like person, but very greedy, very sneaky, very manipulative.
Ivanka, Jared, and Josh. And a couple days later, I found out that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims, which is a line that I had developed with Kim. And I had a lot of issues with the imagery of Skims. I felt like there's a lot of imagery that was overly sexualized and things that I wouldn't want to see my wife and definitely not my daughters doing in the future in order to sell product. But it reaches another level when it's like, okay, well, this is what my wife is doing, and this is what she's doing for our children. But it reaches another level when her business partners are selling pieces of company that they don't have to, because the company's already so successful and it's an internet-based company. So it's like they're really just selling off the company in order to create more relationships for themselves that are unneeded. It's like when I went to
So basically saying they don't need the money. They don't need to have a larger percentage than him in his own company. But them being Jays, them being sneaky, them being greedy, it's a power move to do that to him.
the Gap, and with our release, they just they shoveled it out. I'm very cautious with my words. I'm really big on being able to have an adult conversation in front of the children. So I don't use explicit language in interviews especially. So I found out after this dinner that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims and I had 5% of Skims. And regardless if, Josh Kushner figured out how to put $150 million, I'm sure it wasn't out of his own account, but $150 million, and I'm sure Jared still has a piece of that fund. Regardless of them putting that money in, for me to have been an owner in it and not known, just from a place as a creative where Skims is so based on a lot of the Yeezy ideas, then it's based on all of the relationships in fashion, because I had to use my relationships in fashion in order to establish Kim in a way where fashionable people would say, hey, I'm down to wear Kim's line. And these VCs, they come in and they get a piece of it after the fact, and they run around and say they have ownership in it. So as I put on my Instagram, which, luckily for everyone, they could just write it off that, I'm crazy until they see my disposition in this interview, and then it's going to get scary. I said, hey, Josh, what if I had 10% of Karlie Kloss's lingerie shapewear swimsuit line, and you have 5% of it, and you didn't know? How would that make you feel?
Well, one, I don't think a Jay would allow that to happen. He'd probably know from the get-go, and you should have known from the get-go. But I'm sure there was some sneaky, greedy things behind the scene. But for him to write that is awesome.
And then after talking to them and really sitting with Jared and sitting with Josh and finding out other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back and being very much a handler right then. They love to.
So he uses the J handler motif, another J drop. Again, Trump was being puppeted by a lot of people. But Kushner was the right-hand man. Again, politics doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in office. It's two-party system. It's a one-party system, uniparty system. But Kushner was this, Jay that he allowed to marry his daughter. There's obviously a purpose for that. He was a right-hand man in the White House. He handled a lot of things, and he handled Donald Trump. Now, when he's saying this, when he's saying handler, I mean, in the context of this conversation, this is all going after the Jays.
To just look at me or look at Trump like we're so crazy and that they're the businessmen. So when I think about all of these things that Jared, somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work, and what is it, his work in Israel?
He asked this question like he didn't already know the answer, which I do love because he makes Tucker say it. And Tucker doesn't want to say it, and Tucker actually adds in other Arab nations. No, Jared Kushner specifically works with Israel. He doesn't work with fucking Iraq and Iran or anybody. It specifically works on a, quote, peace treaty. That's never going to happen unless if the Jays get their way with everything, which isn't a peace treaty. It's just total domination, which they've had since, they gave them the stolen land in 1948 through the Balfour Declarement.
And finding out other
agreement, excuse me.
Other pieces of information, I was like, wow, these guys might have really been holding Trump back and being very much a handler right then. They love to just look at me or look at Trump like we're so crazy and that they're the businessmen. So when I think about all of these things that Jared, somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work, and what is it, his work in Israel or his work in what is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like...
I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
I just think it was to make money.
That's a fucking classic. That's classic. Because that's exactly what it was. Like, because there is going to be no peace treaty between Israel and other Arab nations. So whatever Jared Kushner is putting his hands into over there is just for a profit.
Somehow doesn't get enough credit for with his work. And what is it, his work in Israel or his work in
he almost says Palestine. He knows that he doesn't work with Palestine or could care less about the plight of the Palestinians who are getting, 10-year-olds killed daily by IDF soldiers. But we digress.
What is this? You know where he made these peace treaties? Where was that? Do you know the facts on this right here? So I'm like...
I think that was between Israel and some of the Arab nations.
Got your Kabbalah bracelet on there, Tucker? Just make sure you say the right thing.
I just think it was to make money. I don't know. Is that too heavy-handed to put on this platform?
No, that's your opinion. We're not in the censorship business.
Okay, thank you. And I just think that that's what they're about, is making money. I don't think that they have the ability to make anything on their own. I think they were born into money. And for me, as a maverick and a talent and a person that's been, beat, kicked, lost everything, said to have lost my mind, went from pull myself up by my boots don't have straps on them, but I say pull myself up from my boots to becoming a multi-billionaire that gets the price every year of my net worth goes down every year on Forbes. They just keep on slowly just taking it down every year. It's like really a weird thing. But as a person that has really built something from nothing, when I sit across the table from a Josh Kushner and he just feels so entitled to that idea, and this person has never brought anything of value other than so-called being a good venture capitalist, I have a major issue with that. And
there's no other way to say it than he's literally just saying since he was born Jewish, he feels entitled that he should have this money and have this power because they are the chosen people and they do feel like they're better than everyone else. There's no other way to sugarcoat that. There's no other way to interpret that. I don't need to replay it. I think that was perfectly said. Let me see if there's any more clips from this that I really want to get into. Because some of it, there's like a lot. Like, I didn't really care about why he did the White Lives Matter shirt. Like I said, he did the White Lives Matter shirt and he came out with Candace Owens. Candace Owens went from liberal Candace Owens to, she literally did a costume change and rebranded into someone called Red Pilled Black, which is like Red Pill Diaries or, you know, Red Pill Redemption. Any of these red pill people, just shut the fuck up. Take all the pills. Take them all. But you get these people, Red Pill Black, and then she eventually just grifts her way back into Candace Owens, and everyone forgets she was this like hardcore extreme leftist. And I'm saying this in the sense of how they view politics. I could care less what they are. I'm just telling you the facts of it, that she was a hardcore leftist who, just like Dave Rubin, just like a lot of these other people, saw the tide was turning on YouTube, that it was more profitable to become a right-wing YouTuber and make fun of leftists, so she decided to go that route. And you just have to call it how you see it. So when he comes out with her with a White Lives Matter shirt on, and then you got Steven Crowder selling White Lives Matter shirts, it just kind of dumbs the whole thing down for me. And I think it's kind of stupid. But, you know, him defending white people in a sense, I'll take it. Let me see if I have the just the clip of him explaining. There's so many different fucking clips. I don't want to sit through another 8 minutes of him talking about it, because you guys can just watch the interview at this point. But basically...
Good evening and welcome.
Calm down, bro. Dude, there used to be a channel called Can't Cuck the Tuck, and it was all Tucker Carlson debates, and they put it like Street Fighter style, and they would have like the power bars, like the video games, and like whoever was winning the debate, the other person's power would go down. I don't know if that channel's still around or not, but even if you don't like Tucker Carlson, that was a good idea for a channel. So look away, ignore him, he's a mental patient, nothing to see here. I know my voice is great right now. Alright, so I just do want to talk a little bit about how he gets into how he's pro-life, and the reason he had a laugh about the White Lives Matter thing was because his father texted him that you got everybody to react over something that's just a true statement. Same as if someone puts a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on. Again, they're all dumb. You shouldn't be wearing any of these shirts. Like, if you're walking around with a White Lives Matter shirt on, like, relax, bro.
And that you designed that.
Yes.
Like you should know if you're white that you matter. Like, you don't need to wear a shirt to tell other people. Like, your whiteness, your culture shows that you matter.
Why? What does that mean?
It just represents life. I'm pro-life.
Boy, so you wear it on a badge. What kind of response do you get? And good, amen, I agree.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50%.
I gotta fact check this one, but this seems very reasonable.
Of black death in America is abortion. So I really
Well, and shootings, obviously. Like 18 to 25-year-old males. And actually, the FBI statistics went up because I know everyone says the 13% for 50% of the violent crime. It's actually 14% for 60% of the crime. And that's for all blacks, but the main chunk of it is 18 to 25-year-old blacks, which is like 60 to 70% of the violent crime.
They don't care about people's response to that. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God.
I'm starting to see why they want to make you be quiet. When did you start to feel this?
Yeah, someone said the alt-right grift pays. See, I don't know what the alt-right is anymore. There used to be a... Like, right now, they're morphing into something they're calling Christian nationalism. I heard Nick Fuentes last night saying that Kanye was quoting him in this interview. I didn't hear anything from Kanye talking about having sex with men, so I'm not sure what quote he heard. But yeah, I don't know if he was quoting Nick Fuentes. That seems a little extreme and intense. I understand liking him as an artist, but that was a little overboard. Let's see here. Just going in the chat quick. Tuck is sweating. You know what's crazy was a non-alt-right person, someone I would say is like, I don't want to call him a fence sitter. I don't want to disrespect the guy. Nick Rekieta. Nick Rekieta, in his genre, which is entertainment, YouTube lawyer space, but I think just in that entertainment live stream space, is the largest super chat receiver, or was the largest super chat receiver at, I think it was something like $1.7 million he made last year. They just nuked his Twitter and YouTube account over the past 2 weeks. So, like, you're really not safe no matter what, unless if you're absolutely towing the line. And these Christian nationalists, I'm going to do a stream with Adam Green about this. Like, this is basically, it's a QAnon 2.0 grift. You got Andrew Torba, who owns Gab. You got Nick Fuentes. You got Laura Loomer, who's a Jew, but she's a Christian nationalist all of a sudden. It's a fad. It's a movement that's going to fizzle out, but Marjorie Taylor Greene's part of it. Basically, anyone you would see on a right-wing watch that watches, like, QAnon prophets that say Trump was ordained by God are people that are part of this thing.
When did you start to realize this?
I really felt like, I think I started to really feel this need to express myself on another level when Trump was running for office, and I liked him.
Yes.
And every single person in Hollywood, from my ex-wife to my mother-in-law to my manager at that time to, you know, my so-called friends / handlers around me, told me, like, if I said that I liked Trump, that my career.
So his handlers. So, you know, he's not just only saying people handle other people. He admits that he has his own handlers.
On another level when Trump was running for office, and I liked him.
Yes.
And every single person in Hollywood, from my ex-wife to my mother-in-law to my manager at that time to, you know, my so-called friends / handlers around me, told me, like, if I said that I liked Trump, that my career would be over, that my life would be over. They said stuff like people get killed for wearing a hat like that. They threatened my life. They put my life. They basically said that I would be killed for wearing the hat. I had someone call me last night and said anybody wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is going to be greenlit, and that means that they're going to beat them up if they wear it. And I'm like, you know, okay, green light me then. You know, God builds warriors in a different.
So he just goes through the whole thing of like why he made the White Lives Matter shirt. This isn't an important part to me, but I did want to get the pro-life piece out of it. And he talks a little bit about talking to his father, just that it was an obvious statement and they had a good laugh about it. And he gets a little more into his history about his father, but I mean, that's something if you guys want to watch the full interview without commentating, you guys can hit up. The main part was obviously the Jared Kushner, Josh Kushner, and the business. And that, folks, is an hour right there. No issues. So I don't know what was up with the last stream, but we're still gonna be upgrading very shortly here, because no more subpar streams, no more buffering out for you guys. You guys don't deserve that. You guys have been supportive and an awesome audience, so we're gonna get that taken care of. If you guys got any questions, hit me up on Discord, hit me up on Twitter, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter. If anybody wants to support the show, it's linked up at the top. Nothing obligated. It's Cash App, cash.app/$Crocko Truth. I am going to put a lozenge in my mouth and try to get my voice back, and we'll probably see you guys soon. I am not getting an Apple. I am getting a PC, but I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm just doing it, because talking about it and being about it, two different things. So that's the last time I'm going to talk about it. I'm just going to put the money I saved, put a list of them together, choose the best one out of that list, put the money down, and have that shit shipped to me, and go from there. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Good to see you, Reality Decoded. Don't forget again, Chalk Body's going on at 11 p.m. Eastern tonight if you guys are up. Sadly, I have to work at 6 a.m., so I probably will not catch the stream, but you guys should all go over there. Love you guys. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for hanging out. And as always, I will see you in the next one. And if you missed the stream, it'll be up on Odysee and Bitchute. Might have to remove it from YouTube. Alright, guys. See ya.